am Jack McGraw, and I'm a candidate for Burns Harbor Town Council. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about me. I'm a retired lieutenant firefighter paramedic, originally from Oak Lawn, Illinois. I was president of JHS Incorporated, a residential and commercial construction company for over 20 years, serving one of the largest companies such as Blockbuster Video throughout the Midwest region. I then became a licensed home inspector in 1999 and served as national director of the ASHE School, teaching classes to new home inspectors nationwide for several years. In 2020, my wife of 40 years and I moved to Burns Harbor for our retirement. We've rebuilt an amazing home that was abandoned and greatly improved our neighborhood. I was asked to become building commissioner in Burns Harbor in March of 2022 and served until May of 2022. I was commissioner from March of 2021 and served until May of 2022 when I opted to semi-retire. My wife Deborah, who is a VU graduate and a RN leader, and I have 6 wonderful children and 12 amazing grandchildren. We've truly been blessed. A member of the Indiana Association of Building Officials with my knowledge of construction, business, and service as a first responder, I feel committed to my community, businesses, and homeowners. My goals include increased economic development, to expand relationships, to provide education for homeowners, and a strengthened mutual aid system which includes not only police and fire, but also streets and building departments, especially related to our changing and often difficult climate changes. I understand how our town government has evolved, and I feel compelled and qualified to continue and improve and progress our town to achieve its highest potential. And I thank the Chamber for having this forum this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Courtney Udvare, and I'm running for a second term as Chesterton Clerk-Treasurer. I'm currently serving the 4th and final year of my first term. If I'm being honest with you, I tell you that as an introvert and as someone currently running unopposed, I had no intention about talking about myself in front of a large group of people. I'm probably getting little hives now. Okay. However, when recently discussing my office with a colleague of mine, I was told that it's interesting that I ran for office in the first place because I'm so unassuming. Now, it's worth noting that this was not a person who throws around words lightly, so immediately my brain starts to churn. Unassuming. What's that supposed to mean? Obviously, I know the literal definition of unassuming. I graduated from Chesterton High School, and I have a bachelor's degree from Purdue, so I know. But how does that pertain to me and my office? If you do happen to look up unassuming, the first example in Webster's dictionary is the unassuming librarian. This is ironic, or maybe it's coincidental, I don't know. My previous position before being elected to office was a library director. That job prepared me well for the position of clerk-treasurer because the library director and the clerk-treasurer share many of the same responsibilities, duties, such as reporting financials. During my first term, I was frequently asked what a clerk-treasurer does. It's not a position that a lot of people know about or are qualified to do. The clerk-treasurer's chief responsibility is ensuring the fiscal well-being of the municipality by maintaining finances, creating budgets, managing payroll and accounts payable, filing reports with the state numerous times a year, and keeping diligent records. During my first term, I accomplished a lot of the goals I set for myself when running for office 4 years ago. A few are getting the town's financial records up to date, setting up a draft system for the utilities, customer payments, creating a full record of capital assets, implementing new internal controls to prevent payroll and other financial errors. As a result, the town of Chesterton is now more financially secure and capable of focusing on projects that will help our community. The little things that make life in Chesterton comfortable are not possible without good financial standing and security. These things are these are things we typically take for granted, like our sanitary and stormwater sewer, road paving, snow plowing in the winter. We know if our house catches fire or a car gets stolen, someone from the police or fire department will be there to help us immediately. Luckily, these aren't frequent occurrences, but it's comfortable to know, or comforting to know that in these situations, they're there. The town of Chesterton staff is one of the biggest assets we have, and thanks to a great town council, caring department heads, a great town manager, and sound financial planning, we've been able to maintain our staff. I've been part of many big projects this first term. We got a new fire truck, we have several police cars, street sweeper, other town vehicles. I was involved in the issuance of a stormwater bond that helped fund vital improvements to our stormwater infrastructure. So the clerk-treasurer is a job that if everything is running smoothly, you won't hear much about. If the finances are not running smoothly, on the other hand, you're likely to hear nothing good about the clerk-treasurer. And that makes it even more important to have the right person for the position. It's an unassuming job for an unassuming person, and that unassuming person is me. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to thank the Chamber for inviting us, all the candidates here, to speak and share a few thoughts. I plan on talking a little bit more about the town because I've been here a while, and some of you I've had in school and some of you not, but born and raised in Chesterton. If you don't know it about me, I'm just assuming that you didn't by now. I'd like to talk about livable centers for a minute as my main thrust of the talk, and that is as a member of the Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission, we commissioned Ball State University, which has architectural and city planning, all kinds of facilities, to do a survey of Chesterton some years ago. And that survey was based on what the concept is called livable centers. And let me describe what a livable center is. That's one in which a majority of the people, or a high percentage thereof, can either bike to or walk to certain amenities or necessities within the town without having to get into a car to drive to them. And I'm proud to say that Chesterton was the recipient of the highest percentage of livable centers in Porter County. And I think that speaks a lot for the fact that we have a viable downtown and we need to keep it. So how do you do that? First of all, you have positive economic growth. Push for positive economic growth. Positive economic growth means the kind of growth that fits into certain places within the town that's appropriate. A junkyard is economic growth. But I don't think any of us would want a junkyard in our neighborhood. So by positive economic growth, we're saying keep things in an orderly fashion, not wild growth. Orderly growth, positive growth. That's what we need. And by doing that, we rely on our Plan Commission, which has done an excellent job. Our Board of Zoning Appeals has done an excellent job at maintaining the sense of the nature of the area that people are looking to build in. For example, I don't know how many people really know that Urschel's right down the road has foundries. They make their own metal products. You couldn't tell it by any smoke. You couldn't tell it by any other indications because that's where they belong. It's a green company. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. And then on the local level, you have to maintain the city core. And we've done that through the Chesterton Economic Development Company. We've made loans to people who needed to get started. Start up in the downtown especially. That's our focus. We have the toy store that has received assistance from the Chesterton Economic Development Company. We also have Christine Newton's insurance agency, the Montessori school, and now just announcing the coming of Jen's Gourmet Bakery in Indian Oak Mall. These are people that need assistance from the town to stay in the town. We do not want what many cities and towns have evolved into, and that's the unplanned donut hole town, where all the facilities and all of the things that people need are on the outside, and the center of the town is abandoned. We can't have that. We've got to put money into the central business district. We've got a park you can walk to. We've got a magnificent market, an upsy-daisy market. All these things are important to support so that this town maintains its downtown. And we want to thank the Duneland Chamber for the work they've done. I'm sorry, I'm out of time. There are 3 other ways to maintain a livable center, but see me later, I'll figure it.
I'm here to speak on behalf of Erin Collins, who is running for Chesterton Town Council. Erin Collins is a progressive candidate running for Chesterton Town Council who is committed to making positive changes in her community. Erin is an elected precinct committee person and an elected state convention delegate. She helped to relaunch the Duneland Dems and was elected chair. She still serves as vice chair today. In her capacity as the chair and vice chair of Duneland Dems and a precinct committee person, she has focused on engaging voters, educating her community about great candidates running for office, and increasing voter turnout. Erin is excited to be proactive and start getting projects that are important to the residents of Chesterton moving forward. As the wife of a union sheet metal worker and the daughter of a union steel worker, Erin knows the importance of supporting workers and their families. She is a strong advocate for unions and is committed to creating policies that benefit workers and their families. Erin believes every town employee and contractor deserves safe working conditions, a living wage, and benefits. Erin's platform includes expanding pedestrian infrastructure to make it easier and safer for residents to walk and bike around town. Making sure the downtown area has ample public parking and the streets and sidewalks are not in disrepair are good places to start. She also supports small businesses and will work to find ways to support them so that they can thrive and create more jobs in the community. Erin is dedicated to improving public education and will work to ensure that the schools in Chesterton receive the resources they need to provide quality education to their students, working with the school board, students, and parents to create a stronger town for our schools. Erin is a get-it-done type of person who is dedicated to making Chesterton a better place for everyone. Her commitment to supporting workers, expanding pedestrian infrastructure, supporting small business, and improving education make her an ideal candidate for the town council. With Erin on the council, Chesterton will have a progressive leader who is not afraid to take action and make positive changes in the community. Thank you.
I am Buck Kittredge. I've lived here in town my whole life. I've raised my family here, and I work here in town. I own Buck's Heating and Air on Calumet Road right by Ace Hardware. And I'm very proud to have sat on the town council since 2015. One thing I would like to talk about today is the quality of life that our town council is trying to provide for people in the town. This has been through several areas, like by bringing Urshel here and other economic development. Also by us attempting to increase the public parking in downtown Chesterton now. One thing that I think the town council is very proud of was back in 2018, we were able to give raises to the police, fire, and other town employees. This has made this a destination town for people moving here and living here, and has increased our first responders. Tim Richardson, the police chief, is doing a fantastic job with his attention to detail and public safety. An example of this is now that we have a fully funded police department, or fully staffed police department, excuse me, the amount of stops that we've been able to have, police stops, have increased. From November 2021 to February 2022, we had 542 stops. Now that we have a fully staffed police department, from November 2022 to February 2023, we've had 1,339 traffic stops. This has really increased the quality of life for safer streets and 49 being safer. I'm also excited that we have the possibility of a new police station here in town. Also, the police department has worked with the school systems to increase our police at the school, which has increased our quality of life and safety for our children. Another important part of quality of life is our parks. Tyler McLeod is doing a great job of projects with in redoing the bathrooms at Chesterton Park, the master plan for the Coffee Creek Park, and redoing the boardwalk. He's looking at what needs to be done now and in the future. The town council has been working very hard on these projects and funding them through grants, ARPA funds, TIF funds, and bonds. As we all know, that there is not enough money to go around, but with the fiscal responsibility of this town council, I hope that we can get these projects done. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, my name is John VanDenburgh. I'm running for Chesterton Town Council for District 2. A little bit of background information about myself. My parents moved us to Chesterton very early in life. I grew up in the Duneland Cove neighborhood. My mom still lives there. I'm a 2005 graduate of Chesterton High School, where I wrestled and played football. Wasn't very good, but I did it. Then I went to Purdue, and I had a double major in accounting and management. I worked in accounting for a year, said no way I could do this, so then I decided to go to law school. I went to law school at Valparaiso University, graduated in 2013, and now I've been a trial attorney for the last 10 years. I live in Chesterton with my wife, my two sons, Reed and Luke. Reed is 3 years old, Luke is a year and a half, so as you can imagine, my house is pretty dull. You know, there's not a lot going on. But one of the main reasons I'm running for town council is for them. This town and community shaped the person that I am today. I have great memories growing up here, the Wizard of Oz Fest, going downtown on a half a day of school, riding my bike to the beach, or George's Heroes when it was just, you know, one room and 6 people could fit in the whole place. And so those are the kind of things I want to, you know, keep improving for my children. One of the goals as a parent always is to make sure, you know, you're raising your kids and you're giving them a better life than you had. So I've never really been that interested in politics, to be honest. Today people talk a lot about, you know, the two parties, Republicans and Democrats, and I'm running as a Republican in the primary, but I'm going to be honest, what I really am passionate about is the town of Chesterton. Plain and simple. I want to make Chesterton a better place so I can raise my children in a place that it was better, or so I can raise my children, you know, in a place that is better than how I grew up. So my overall entire focus is to improve the quality of life for the residents of Chesterton. How am I going to do that? The main thing I want to do is bring a unified overall vision and direction to Chesterton. This town has a lot of great resources, right? The dunes, the national park located right by the toll road, 2 major interstates, great school systems, a lot of things that are individually are great. Where I think where I can help is to bring an overall direction to the town to make sure we are taking advantage of all these great resources. This has to start on the business economic development side. Since I've grown up here, Chesterton has grown a lot in terms of population. However, on the business economic development side, it seems to have been stagnant a little bit, and the corresponding growth hasn't been quite there. So we need to ask ourselves as a town, you know, if the population is growing and the business side of things is not, then, you know, what's the issue? What do we have to do to improve that? And I think that the lack of overall direction is one aspect that we can improve, and I also think that we need to ask ourselves and the community members what type of businesses that we want to see in Chesterton, and create a plan to try to proactively reach out to those businesses and try to accomplish that plan. I also think that Chesterton has become known as a town that's not as welcoming to new potential businesses as it could be. So I think we need to reevaluate some of the old town ordinances that are making all these hurdles for new potential businesses, ask why they're in place, what's the purpose, and see if we can make some changes. So the next thing I want to touch on real quick before my time runs out is revitalizing Chesterton, right? Downtown, we hear that, you know, year after year when people are running. But right now there's more openings of downtown business, more openings in the business front that I'd like to see. So I think we need to go back to start reaching out to potential businesses, create a plan, and go forward from there. But my time is out, so I just want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for putting this on for us, and I appreciate everyone's consideration. Thank you.
8 years later, and this is still my least favorite part, being the town council. Like Courtney, speaking about myself and what I do is not fun. My daughter suggested I use AI to write the speech for me. Clearly, after I'm done, you'll see that I did not use AI, but hopefully my passion for Chesterton comes through. My name is Dane Lafata, and I'm running for re-election to the District 3 seat in Chesterton. In my 8 years on the council, we've had a lot of successes. Just recently, Urshel expanded, adding 50 jobs and millions in construction work there. But the thing I'm most proud of, and you guys have heard a lot of the successes, so I'm not going to list them all off again. But like Buck said, we were able to give everybody raises. And that's really shown through in our police department, where we're able to have a list of qualified people to hire, which was not happening when we first started there. But more important than that, we're able to use creative accounting to get that done, and we didn't have to implement a wheel tax like a lot of our larger neighbors have had to do. And I'm running for re-election because we've started some long-term projects that I want to see through. The downtown parking, it's going to be important. It's going to draw people to town. And last Thursday, I was driving there for an event, and there was like 5 or 6 parking spots left on a Thursday night at 6:30. So that's a needed project. The police station is going to be a beautiful thing. I walk through the police station to the town hall every day. My uncle was part of the architecture team, Westergren, that designed that original police station. So I love that police station, and I'm proud of it, but it's time for a new one. And I want to sit on that council as we build that and make it right for Chesterton for the next 50 to 60 years. The one I'm most passionate about, though, is the Coffee Creek Park. That park, when finished, is going to be an absolute gem for our downtown and our park system. It will draw people in from outside. It will extend their stay in downtown, and it'll increase the businesses. It'll make more people there, which will encourage people to open up businesses in the few spaces we have. A little about me: I'm a 4th generation Chesterton resident, and I'm raising a 5th generation in town here with my wife Lacey. I graduated from Wabash College. I graduated from CHS and then attended Wabash College, where I did not graduate from, but I did later on get my accounting degree. I'm an enrolled agent who can practice before the IRS, and I have a health, life, and property and casualty insurance license. When it was time to give back to my community, I served on the Chesterton Tax Abatement Committee, and then reached out to Liberty Rec and Chesterton's Wrestling Club to see if they needed a treasurer, which they did. And I've been serving as treasurer for those 2 organizations for at least 10 years for Liberty Rec and probably 8 years for the Wrestling Club. Eventually, I worked my way up to the town council, where I've been able to use my skills as an accountant, and then also on the Plan Commission and the Redevelopment Committee. I currently run a tax office in Lake Station, a business that my parents started over 40 years ago in a small office on Calumet in downtown Chesterton. So I spent a lot of time in Coffee Creek Park when I was little, and that's why it's partially so important to me. Every year, I meet with around 1,000 of my tax clients, and I go through how much state taxes, how much county taxes, and how much property taxes they pay. And so as an elected official, seeing that, I know it's important that we spend every tax dollar we receive carefully, and I promise to continue to do just that. When re-elected, my goal is to make Chesterton a community that the children that are growing up now want to come back to. And so we have to have long-term planning, so that the kids that are growing up, the kids that see it just now, when they leave and they go to college and they can go anywhere they want to come back here. Because if we're not building communities that the residents who grew up here want to come back to, we're not doing it right. So again, I just want to thank everybody for coming out here. I know we've all been busy, and you guys all have a good day.
Good morning, everybody. Got some tough speeches to follow, but everybody's doing a fantastic job. Hopefully I can continue it. I want to introduce myself. My name is Eric Robinson. I am running for District 3 town council. Not much of a public speaker, but this is, you know, something that I'd like to improve on, and this is part of running for town council. I have been in Chesterton area the majority of my life. Grew up here, went to Duneland schools. I'm a single father of 2 boys who currently go to Duneland schools. Very proud to say that I've been a part of this community. Just have not been very active in the community, and I feel like this time in my life that I would like to be more active in what's going on, and like some of the other candidates said, basically making this a place for my kids and future generations of families to have a great place to grow up and enjoy the resources and the facilities that we have in this community. I have basically, after I graduated Chesterton High School, I've gotten into the construction industry. I've been in that industry for over 30 years. I've worked on multiple projects throughout the community. Chesterton wastewater treatment plant, I had a big part of that expansion that I'm very proud to talk about. Indiana Community Park, Coffee Creek Boardwalk, we did some work on that. So I've worked on many projects in the community that I'm happy to be able to take my kids around and show them and be able to talk about. The next part of my speech would be, why am I running? Been throwing this idea around for several years to try to be a more active member of the community, get more involved, and now at this time in my life, I believe that time has come, and I would like to be more of an active member on helping make decisions for the community in whatever direction the council can agree for the betterment of the residents. So that's kind of why I'm running. I try to keep up on what's happening in town, and I believe, like the other candidates, a lot of the other candidates said, public safety is a great thing. I've been reading about that, possibly of a new police station, updating the fire department, and keeping our services top notch is one of my concerns and stuff I'd be advocating for, because that's where it starts with your police and fire and your school system. I'm all for improving all those areas. The next thing is I would like to see is public infrastructure, or excuse me, pedestrian infrastructure. I believe that this community does a lot of good things. People like to get out and walk around. The European market seems to be a very popular thing. Improving our infrastructure is sidewalks, roads. I know the town council's been doing the best to try to get that, keep up with everything there, and I would like to continue that if elected. I think that's a very important thing for moving forward to keep the town heading in the right direction. Another thing is I'd just like to be able to use my experience in the construction industry, if elected, to better the town, to better the residents, keep an open ear and listen to what people have to say and take their suggestions and try to improve whatever we can for the quality of life of the residents in the town of Chesterton. With that being said, again, my name is Erin. I hope to continue to work with you guys in the next coming years.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sharon Darnell, and I'm seeking to return to the Chesterton Town Council. Everybody did a great presentation on their background. I didn't really include that in here, so that would be reluctant of me. I've grown up in this area. I've lived in good old Crocker, the other side of Chesterton. Love it, been there my whole life. Grew up in the same piece of property I was brought home from the hospital in, and I'm still there. I'm here today to ask for support to return to the town council. I've always felt that Chesterton is absolutely the finest place to live, work, raise a family. I have children that are now adults. They want to do the same. For the folks that want to move away and come back, I understand the difficulty. In our house, we opted to find every way to fill those gaps so we could remain because of the area. I know everyone doesn't have that option, nor do they have the large family base that I am lucky to be part of. Sometimes, we know about family. But most of the times, we're there for each other and we try to help each other out. The challenges facing Chesterton are as diverse as the community we live in. I'd like to hope that I am aware of most of these challenges that come up, but change is constant, and every day it begs my attention. For this reason, I believe continuing to be a part of our town's development in a planned and conscientious way is how I see success for us as a town. To ignore the need for a controlled mix of development would be a mistake. Revenue from taxes support our town's ability to function responsibly. Residential development solely on its own cannot support this. With the implementation of the 2% tax caps or the circuit breaker, this only sets us up for a shortfall for our expenses. Our existing zoning, which consists of single family as well as multi-levels of residential development, along with many levels of business uses, are all a part of our town. Along with commercial and industrial zoning and its many varied levels this mix makes, this is our revenue stream. I must constantly make myself aware of how changes to this mix and possible developments will change our bottom line. These individual multiple zonings supply many different levels of funding that come to us in our tax dollars. The mix that exists presently helps us to succeed in maintaining as well as adding to our personal gains. Our personnel, along with material needs for Chesterton. We need this income for those very simple reasons. Without this constant attention to change in our revenue, we risk setting ourselves for a certain struggle in our town's financial health. The talent in our personnel and the supplies needed to keep our town in good health take money. And that, folks, in this room is the absolute beginning and end of any long-term financial plan. If we sell ourselves short, we don't continue to thrive. This is my 20th year on the town council. I retired 8 years ago. I was gonna be done. And now I've decided that when I came back, there are more things to do. I am still learning. I'm asking for your support to return as a member of the Chesterton Town Council. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Thank you to the Chamber for organizing this event. My name is Corinne Peffers, and I'm running on the Democratic ballot for Clerk-Treasurer in the town of Porter. I am a Porter native, born and raised, and lifelong Duneland resident. I reside, obviously, in Porter with my husband, Nate, who's a union carpenter, and my 3 children. In 2016, I began working for the town of Burns Harbor, first as a utility clerk and sanitary board secretary, and was promoted to deputy clerk in 2019. I've been a member of the Indiana League of Municipal Clerks and Treasurers since 2020, and through experience and training, I've earned my certification as an Indiana accredited municipal clerk. I regularly attend training provided by organizations including the League, Accelerate Indiana Municipalities, State Board of Accounts, and the Department of Local Government Finance. Prior to working in municipal government, I worked for nearly 16 years at the Chesterton Tribune in multiple roles, including office manager and advertising director. One of the most important duties of a clerk treasurer is to manage the town's finances. This includes maintaining accurate records, which you heard Courtney talk about a little bit ago, of all financial transactions, including revenues, expenditures, processing claims, overseeing payroll, and timely and accurate financial reporting. Another key responsibility of a clerk treasurer is to manage a budget. This involves working with other officials to create a balanced budget that meets the needs of the community while also ensuring that it's financially sustainable. I understand this takes careful planning, analysis, and communication. In addition to financial management, the clerk treasurer also serves as a clerk of the town council, maintains official records of meetings, ordinances, resolutions, taking minutes, all requiring good organizational skills and attention to detail. All of these tasks are crucial to the effective and efficient operation of a town. And I, fortunately, have experience in all of them. I work day to day in many of the same software programs that the Porter Clerk Treasurer's Office currently uses. I reports through Indiana's online portals, work with spreadsheets, process payroll, utilize and understand the importance of internal controls. Being a clerk-treasurer is not a job for the faint of heart. It requires a great deal of responsibility, hard work, dedication, expertise, and importantly, accountability. I'm ready to take on that challenge. My experience working as a deputy clerk for a very active and accomplished veteran clerk-treasurer has uniquely prepared me for that challenge. I will listen to the concerns of citizens, community members, other officials, and collaborate to actively be a part of a solution. I have and will continue to take part in educational opportunities that are relevant to the office because it's very important and it benefits my community in the long run. I have the experience and the drive to do a great job for the town of Porter, and I believe my experience will bring stability to the office and allow me to hit the ground running. I also believe in the power of public service, as many of you obviously here do. And I would love the opportunity to serve my hometown. Thank you. And I tell you what, I am so excited for the town of Porter to receive such a qualified and competent clerk-treasurer. Good job, Corinne. Laura Madigan, again, hi. I'd like to thank the Chamber first for hosting this event and for inviting me to participate. Connecting candidates with voters is an invaluable public service and truly from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm running for re-election to Porter's Town Council. Since I'm unopposed in this primary, I thought I'd take advantage of this opportunity to let the voters know a little bit more about myself personally and why I love to do the work that I do. I'm originally from Chicago, but I've lived in Duneland for 15 years. 10 of those years in the lovely, sleepy little town of Porter, where, as I wrote this last night, I heard through my open window the spring peepers that seem to just be breeding optimism at the end of every winter. Love it here. My husband and I chose Duneland as our nesting grounds when we decided to raise a family. Really, he decided. He grew up here and graduated from high school here, so he decided that this was a great place, and I agreed, not really knowing what I was getting into. And in the beginning, there was a little bit of a culture shock for me. But Duneland, this community, has been such a welcoming and supportive and safe environment to raise my children in that I feel forever indebted. And I get a little bit verklempt when I talk about that, as other people have said, right? Your job as a parent is to try to work, to do everything you can, learn everything you can, and you climb as high up on the ladder as you can, you grab your kids and you throw them up and you give them an even better opportunity, right? And so I love Duneland for providing that for my family. And in return, of course, I want to give back. I was raised by a single mother who, I lost my place in here. I was raised by a single mother, and of course, as most of you can imagine, my maternal grandmother was a huge influence in my life. She was an OG Rosie the Riveter, and I mean literally at the age of 17 was a riveter. She was an Army medic in World War II, and she was married to a Marine who also served in the same war. After the war, they raised a very patriotic family that thoroughly understood its responsibility to civic duty. My grandmother led by example first, and sometimes had to follow through with a swift slipper when needed. And she took great joy in working and pride in working the elections every year. She worked for the village that I grew up in as a public servant. She served on the board of the American Legion, of which she was a member. And it is in her honor that I take so much pride and joy serving my community, especially on election day, favorite day of the year, getting your civic duty on. I love it. I never ever grow tired of talking to constituents, solving problems behind the scenes. As a team member of the town council, we work hard to align, it's complicated, as everyone up here has already explained, to align many different moving parts in order to achieve a common goal where I think all of us in this room agree on that direction. And then lining it all up and getting it there is so valuable and gratifying. I'm almost done, so I will just say that teamwork makes the dream work. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Hello, my name is Don Kraft. I'm lucky enough to go last, so I don't have a time limit, correct?
Nice try, Don.
I would like to thank the Chamber for letting us all be here and all speak. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a Porter resident since 2004. Last July, I was caucused in to replace Greg Stinson, who, before he retired, he called me to make sure that I would take the job because he wanted to retire without knowing that. I'm a Purdue North Central graduate. Like I said, I've been serving on the town council since last July. I'm also on the redevelopment commission, also the town's representative to NERC and serve on the NERC finance committee there. Previously, I've worked on the town storm board, police commission, and plan commission. One of the things that I really love about the town of Porter is we have a great department heads, both in parks and public works. Our fire chief and police chief are all really great people. Also getting to work with my fellow council lady, Miss Madigan back there, and looking forward to working with Corinne next year. The things that I really want to take care of in the town is I'm a self-admitted hippie a little bit. I love green stuff. I love parks. I love the fact that the environment in itself is finally being recognized by most of our politicians as something that we can't live without. It's isn't quite that simple. So I like to see us do things that help promote that greenness. I will give all the credit to my public works department manager, James Spanner, for getting us on the Drive Clean program, where we're going to be having and adding some Ford F-150 Lightning trucks. And we'll also be adding some charging stations to our town, which is making us be happy. We're also probably going to be replacing our lights down Lincoln Way with more efficient lights. And also one thing that I like is make sure that they're also reduce the light pollution, because where I grew up on the west side of Chicago, I didn't really see the stars that great. I love being able to see the stars out here. So I wish I could tell Chicago to turn the lights down sometimes, but that's not going to happen. So in the future, I want to continue to make the town more green. I want to continue working with the people. I really consider myself a public servant and not a politician. I really dislike the politics of politics. But also, I've also served in the party since 2016 when I was energized by Bernie Sanders' presidential run. I've been a precinct person since then, and also by the end of this month I will be the Porter County Chair for the Democratic Party. So I will have 2 elections within about 3 days of each other. So looking forward to both and hopefully doing well in both. So thank you very much for your time.
Wrap up, are there any other candidates in the room that did not make the program? Good. With that said, I'd like to thank the Hilton Garden Inn for being such gracious hosts for us today. They are fabulous to work with. Hopefully we'll have a ribbon cutting here soon for a great renovation that they have undergone. I'd like to thank my team and my staff at the Duneland Chamber again for pulling this together. Michelle Hunsley is our membership engagement specialist. Rachel Campbell is our new events manager. Kelly Seaman in the back is our finance director. We couldn't do this without them helping to coordinate all of this and communicate all of this, so thank you guys. Thank you again to all the candidates that have made the time to come here and share their stories and share their passion with us. I think it's a super important program for us to continue to put on to make sure that all of our citizens are aware of really just what drives our elected officials and what's important to them and really having the chance to hear from us as well. So I like to encourage, we did give you guys back almost like an hour back to your day because we started so early. So if all the candidates could stick around for a few minutes just in case anyone wants to ask any questions specifically to any candidates here in the room, or if any of our media people would like to also ask any additional questions. I'd also like to mention that the town's websites are a great asset to the town, a wealth of information. So please, if you guys have any questions regarding any projects that are going on, most of all this information that some of the candidates had touched on are located on the Town of Chesterton, Porter, Burns Harbor's websites, past minutes, all of that information that you guys could research and kind of see what's going on and what projects they're really already working on and the momentum that they have behind them. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the Duneland Chamber's website that has a few events coming up, including our annual meeting on April 25th. That will be at the Spa. Banquet and Event Center. We'll welcome our 2023 Board of Directors, have some networking, have some food, and just enjoy each other's company. You can hear some of our plans with the Duneland Chamber. And reality check that we normally have in March with the high school, which is the 8th grade Game of Life. We need 100 business, volunteers, anyone that can help some 8th graders kind of go through this program with us. Again, that one's near and dear to our heart. That's May 12th. So if you have any time, we have sections in the morning and afternoon during the school time that we really need your guys' help on. So I would appreciate that. I was not born in Duneland, but I chose to live in Duneland, and I appreciate all of the work that you guys have done, because I really believe in everyone in this room, and I hope that my children will choose to stay in Duneland going forward. So thank you guys for everything that you do again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.